Hi everyone. Let's talk about time management because NABARD exam is very nearby and therefore it becomes important that you're taking your mocks properly. You're taking your mocks in the right manner. And when I talk about taking your mocks, then time management becomes all the more important for an examination like NABARD. Why is that? Because there are 8 subjects in just phase 1. Out of these 8 subjects, 3 are merit, 5 are non-merit, and therefore the entire time management issue becomes all the more complicated, all the more convoluted. In that scenario, it becomes important for me to help you understand how do you manage your time in the examination hall and how do you practice that beforehand through mocks, because mocks are a way for you to reduce unpredictability in the final exam. So let us begin. Let us talk about time management one by one. I'm not going to make it too complicated. I'll keep it as simple as possible. And in that simplicity, you will find solace, you will find clarity, because I will make sure that you have understood and you're also able to implement this kind of time management in your examination hall. So as you know, there are merit subjects, 3 subjects, and then there are non-merit subjects, 5 subjects. There is a total time of 120 minutes. There is no sectional time. That is a good thing in NABARD examination. If I have to summarize the entire thing to you, I will get into the details as well. But if I have to summarize the entire thing to you, you do it 60-60 in order to be the most safe, because 60 minutes you're spending on 3 subjects here, but because this is not merit, you're spending less time per subject, so you're spending 60 minutes on a total of 5 subjects here. The number of questions don't vary. The number of questions here is also 100. Number of questions here is also 100. But in order to keep things simple in your mind, in order to keep things simple on paper as well, you make sure that you spend 60 minutes each, 60 on merit, 60 on non-merit. There are some students, I have had discussions with some students who are doing pretty well, who are saying, sir, I can do this entire thing in 40. What do I do with the remaining time? Do I spend 80 on this? I can do this entire in another 40, 50. I still have 20 minutes left. What do I do in that 20? That's a good problem. That's not a bad problem. If that is a problem, you should be happy about it. You spend 40 here, you spend another 40 here, you come back and revise for the next 20 minutes this, or you revise this, whatever you want to do. You want to sleep in the exam hall, you do that as well. Sleep away to glory, it doesn't matter. Why? Because it's a good problem that you're in. You're able to solve the paper and also get good marks within 40 minutes. But for majority students, that is not the case. A lot of students are facing problems right now in understanding how do you divide your time between these two. Now 60-60 is a very rudimentary, very basic formula that you can follow. 60 minutes on this, 60 minutes on this. It's clean and clear. Just like that face wash, you don't have to worry about it too much. But what if you want to get fancy with it? What if you want to micromanage the entire time management thing? What if you want to make sure that you gain as many marks as possible from these 3 subjects, and also don't miss out on the cutoff, individual cutoff on these 5 subjects, because a lot of students are not able to clear the individual cutoff of these 5 subjects. They're able to, for example, there is a student who clears the individual cutoff of these 4, but in computers the individual cutoff is 30%. There are 20 questions, 30%, that means 6, but you score 5, you're out of the race. Just because of this one mistake, you're completely out of the entire race. You have to now wait for another year. You don't want that to happen. You want to make sure that if you're doing well, you're able to not make any minor silly mistake because of which you're thrown out, chucked out of the entire race of the exam. What do? 60-60, very basic. You want to make it a little more complicated, 70-50 or 50-70. Okay, that depends upon your speed, upon your comfort. But this is a very basic formula that you can apply. So 60 on this, 60 on this, very happy. What if you want to make it more complicated? What if you want to understand what exactly happens in the exam hall and take advantage of that? Let me tell you what happens with me, and it happens with a lot of other students as well. So I have an attention span which is reducing because of shorts and reels and all of that, but I have an attention span of 20 to 25 minutes. That is what I have noticed over a period of time. After this 20-25 minutes, my brain starts going blank. But what I've also noticed here is if I take a break here, then getting back to studies, getting back to whatever I'm doing becomes very, very difficult. I have to basically go back the entire cycle, repeat the entire cycle, go and apply the same amount of willpower in order to study for another 20-25 minutes. That's a lot of work. My brain virtually gives up after that. What if I do something else instead of taking a break? Now, I found that taking a break is bad for me because I have to apply the same willpower and then get back to studies 20-25 minutes again. Instead of taking a break here for the next 5 minutes, 2 minutes to 5 minutes, 5 minutes is a very long time. For the next 2 to 5 minutes, I do something light. Instead of studying the same thing, I pick up something else which is lighter, but I'm still studying. I'm still in the same process. I'm not changing gears. I'm not putting my car in the back gear and doing something else altogether. I'm not picking up my phone and watching reels. I'm not changing what I'm doing. I'm still doing the same thing. I'm still studying, but I'm studying something lighter that does not require that kind of focus. And after 2 to 5 minutes, my brain tells me automatically, bro, it's time to get back to your studies. You've had that break that you wanted. That is something that I've noticed happening with me. And I've also noticed it happening with a lot of students. It might also be happening with you. The time might differ. Instead of 20, it might be 15. Instead of 20, it might be 50. It might be 50 or 15. It doesn't matter. You have to analyze what is that time for you. Is it 30? Is it 40? Is it 50? Whatever the number is, you know that better. Okay, you identify that number. Let's take an example to understand it. Let's say that number is 30. So for first 30 minutes, you focus on what is most important, what is going to get you through phase 1 into phase 2. So you focus your best time, you're very fresh, you just started your examination, you spend the first 30 minutes on your merit subjects. Then you take a break of 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Why do I put 10 minutes here? Because it's not just a break that you're taking, you also have to clear the individual cutoffs of these subjects. So you take a decent shift. It's not a break, it's a shift. You change the gears of your car from fourth gear, you come to third gear, and you spend some time on third gear so that your car cools down. It's not that revving right now. It is not in a very heavy position. You're sailing very easily with that car. Okay, so from fourth gear, you come to third gear, you spend 10 minutes on that. You do something that does not require a lot of focus. For example, computers or reasoning. For me, computers is easy, reasoning is easy, requires less effort. For a lot of students, English also requires less effort. Decision making certainly requires more effort. So I would not do that right here. I would either do English or computers or reasoning. Any one or any two, whatever my speed is, I do that. After 10 minutes, I come back to the merit subjects, spend another 30 minutes on the merit subjects. Now, this requires practice. It is not something that you go in the exam hall, do it right away and do it right. It will not happen. If you do it directly in the exam hall, you're bound to mess it up. So what do? You practice it through mocks. You practice it enough number of times before the final exam so that you ace it properly in the final exam. Okay, after 10 minutes, you come back to this and you spend 30 minutes on again on the merit subjects. After 30 minutes, another 30 minutes, you're either done with the entire merit subject because you already spent 60 minutes, or if you're a slow student, if you take time to solve merit subject questions, ESI, ARD, and GA, then you know that you need more time. In any scenario, you again shift gears. You again shift gears from fourth to third or fourth to second, whatever you want to call it, and you spend another 10 to 20 minutes here. Okay. Why have I written 20 minutes? So that you are able to now focus on another thing which is a little lighter, but at the same time, you need focus, and focus doesn't come in a mere span of 10 minutes. So, when you have focus, because you are giving it more time, you cover something like quant and decision making, which requires more focus, which requires more effort. You can also spend up to 30 minutes here if you're done. If you're done with the entire merit section here, now 30, 60, 70, you only spend 70 minutes out of 120. You still have 50 minutes left. So you can spend a very good 30 minutes on content decision making. Whatever the remaining parts are, you can start covering that. Okay, 30 minutes you spend on this. If something is left in the merit section, you come back. If nothing is left, you continue doing this and you finish the paper in whatever time you have. Okay, you can also revise. You can come back and revise in about 10 to 20 minutes. If you have a lot of time in hand, 20 minutes. If you have less time in hand, about 10 minutes you can spend and revise whatever you have done in the entire paper in the last 60 minutes. So that is how you can create a very good time management strategy, technique, methodology, whatever you want to call it, whatever fancy term you want to give it, it doesn't matter. What matters is whatever works for you in the examination, apply that. But before applying that, do two things. Number one, see that it is your own method. It is not a copy paste job. It works with your brain well, your brain accepts it, and your brain likes it. That is number one. And secondly, you have to practice it enough number of times before the final exam. Because if you don't practice it, you go directly in the exam and you start shooting, then you will shoot all over the place, but you will not be able to shoot the enemy correctly. Okay, you have to practice shooting. Similarly, you have to practice through mocks. So if you practice it enough number of times, 8 to 10 times through mocks, you would know that you're now acing it, that you're not doing it well enough to be able to crack the code in the final exam. Okay, that is it from my side. If you have any doubts, ask it in the comment section below. If you feel that something I missed out, don't forget to mention it in the comment section below as well. If you want to know something about the ongoing courses, NABARD, RBI, SEBI, RBI 2026 is also started. At least the enrollments have started. The live classes are going to begin after phase 2. You can ask your queries either in the comment section below or you can go to the website as well. Okay, that is it from my side. Keep studying hard. All the best. Bye-bye.